Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do EDENWOOD from Image Comics, issue number 1. Yeah, this is a new comic, a new series. Obviously, because it's a number 1. It's written by, what's this name? J. David Ramos. And Tony S. Daniels, the artist. I like Tony Daniels' artwork, and he's been around for a very long time. He did also this. Noctera, I reviewed this on my channel, so check it out if you want to interested into that video, in those videos. In the beginning, I think, hey, cool premise, cool villain, but then it turned into, when it comes to writing, it turned from good into worse. So I checked out after 10, 11 issues around that. I'm not entirely sure anymore, which is a shame because I like sci-fi, I like fantasy. Unfortunately, this is shit, in my opinion. So we have now another fantasy book. So we're going to take a dive into this. So these are the creators, as I said before. So where is this? Well, I'm not entirely sure. It's more like, it says here, Williams Bay, 1 mile from EDENWOOD barrier. Now, from what I've read, EDENWOOD is... not sure if it's a place or it's a magical barrier or something. I believe the EDENWOOD is this place, but something happened. There's magic in it. Let's leave it at that. But we have all these kids here, and there's and immediately, I start to dislike a couple of characters because they are trying to be edgy, and some profanity in here. I don't mind that, but when the creator always immediately throws off a lot of stuff in here that eventually don't matter, and the story doesn't really go nowhere, but he's putting it in here because, oh, look at these teenagers are being edgy, right? I don't like that, but for story's sake, let's go through it. Anyway, so this guy's called Elias, I guess, right? And he says, how much longer? Ask my sister. She's mapped this location. The EDENWOOD expanding. I saw it on the news. And if you get lost in there, you ain't never coming back. And there's the demons that's been breaking through, right? I think the government is just trying to protect its little enchanted lake. And so this guy's, I don't know, I'm not sure if these guys are dressing up or have they some kind of a Dungeons and Dragons role playing or something like that. But he has a cape and shorts and I don't know, a chair. I don't know really what's going on. And this is a guy is reading a comic book, and so this girl says, "Hey, I'm going into the woods, and hold the fort for me, Lupe." And so this Lupe girl says, "Hey, it's that guy, isn't it?" Right? And so she's going into the woods. And so Elias says, I said I wouldn't save any of you. So basically he says, stick together. And she says, well, I'm only get out to fight my dog. And she says, tell the loser I blacken his other eye if I catch him. So I thought to myself, who is he talking about, right? And why is he so angry? So it seems that she is liking a guy called Rion. And... so she's calling him out. He says, hey, do you see any sign of Pip? Pip is the dog. She says, nope. But I won't stop looking for him until I find him. And he says, hey, look, I have something for you. You can only find these where witches bloom. You're making that up, but it's sweet, right? All right. And then we go back to these guys. And so this guy says, hey, why you hate Ryan so much? I don't hate him, Pee-wee. He's sort of my best friend, actually. She likes dark and mysterious. So do I. Only Elias hates him. What do you mean with that specifically sentence? Are you saying you're gay? Not that it matters, but, check boxing and all that stuff, right? But if he's gay, that's fine. As long as I'm not being hit over the head with it and it doesn't interrupt the plot, that's fine by me. I don't care. Anyway, so they are, yabbering about. You have some chat here and there. But then there's some explosions going on. And his sister called Adelaide, I guess. He wants to look for her, but there's a lot of rumbling, and it says, well, she's now with Rion here. I love how the forest lights up from the war. Do you think it's winning in there? Well, if the Edenwood is expanding, then it's losing ground. It's only a matter of time before the US is consumed like the other continents. So they have some, teenager chat here. But yeah, there's some stuff going on because what I think it is that there's the land is expanding for reasons, right? And it's the other party, the enemy, that is expanding the region into the borders of the other country, I guess. Anyway, so she sees Pip here, and he said, "What? Where? I didn't see it. Hey, wait for me, you get lost. He's right. He was right here. Did you hear him barking?" And then Adelaide is gone, and then he says, "Pip," but then as a skeleton. What's going on? So more rumbling, and there's a lot of dust. And so he says, "Hey, you can't leave your sister in there, bro. We all get swallowed up." So I believe this is the part that the land is expanding, right? I'm guessing because there's tree and all that stuff popping out. I'm guessing. I'm not really seeing it, but that's what I'm thinking. So then he just, runs away and says, "Where are you going? We need to get help." And he says, "What about Rion?" Right? And Adelaide, right? But then Rion is here. He says, "I know these woods. I grew up here. I played hide and seek in here. But when the witches built Edenwood, they changed its landscape. Landmarks slowly disappeared after the last 7 years. Sometimes I almost get lost. Soon, this will all be Edenwood, unless the witches start winning." So that raises some questions for me, right? So who is making these woods expand? Is it the witches? Or is it something else? Because they are talking about, he says, this will all be Edenwood unless the witches start winning. So does that mean the witches are the good guys? Not sure. Anyway, he says, "My father was a photographer, and he saw beauty in the new territory that was taking over the Midwest. The massive trees suddenly appeared one day and unique ecosystems surrounding them. When he went into the woods and didn't come home for dinner, my mom went looking and never saw them ever again." So, and then he says that he's living in cars and, and stealing food and all that stuff. And then when he was in school, he met that girl, right? And then basically she was falling for him because he looked like, some kind of a famous teen actor. And then therefore, she fell in love with him, and then he couldn't help falling in love with her too. I don't mind, and I actually like that, right? So this guy is not the typical douchebag, good-looking guy. He's just actually caring for Adelaide. I like that, right? But then more explosions, and I guess that's explosions, or is it the expanding of the wood? I'm not entirely sure, but then he's just, he's being blasted out, and then there's, snow, right? And then something really weird is going on. These are probably tanks and other things, and somebody's screaming for help, or, well, not really screaming. He says, "Hey, come on, give me a drink," right? And he says, "I know I'm done, but my flask, if you will. A man deserves to drink before he dies." But then instead of, being freaked out of all this, he says, "Hey, do you see my girlfriend? Her name is Adelaide." But then he says, and he wants to get out of the woods. And there's no out of the woods, and this creature turns into a demon. And that looks really cool, I must say. And so then, this demon hunter comes in, but also, I tell you where Adelaide is. She's dead. First rule of a demon killer, never trust the fallen. So our young boy hero, what's his name again? Rion. I'm looking for my friend, and she's a girl my age. Has she come through? 3 days ago I heard teenage screams. Perhaps I heard her screams. If so, she was eaten with her friends. I did not get to them in time. She would have been here maybe 5 minutes ago, so it wasn't her. 5 minutes here could also be 5 years. Time works different for some paths in the Edenwood. You cannot stay here. Demons are attracted to their own blood, especially cold blood. How do I get out of here? And he says, there is no way out. And he said, that's it? You just take off? There are 3 demons I'm tracking. What are you, some kind of a demon killer? I am Bastille, and I am a demon killer. Some even say, I'm the best. And then he's running after him, and he is hearing engines. So he turns around and he says, tanks and soldiers. There must be hundreds. This is the witch army. Yes. Where are they going? To kill some demons? No, boy, they're retreating. So Bastille is basically saying that once, not long ago, there were many. Now there are not so many. And basically they are knowing that they are going to die. And because they are surrounded. So Rion says, so that means we are surrounded too. And he says, shouldn't we join them? I mean, they have tanks and protection and guns. And you only have 2 swords. So Bastille says, judge a man not by his weapons, but by his will. Right? And where are you going? Aren't you going to warn them, telling we're all going to die? And Bastille says, hey, they know their fate. And yet they march. Can we then choose a different path? You just can't let them fucking die. They have chosen their path. Who would I be to be altered? Demons will be upon us soon. You can come with me and be my squire. I have taken a liking to your courage, boy. That's quick. And so he says, you need to choose your path, or you can choose me. One guy, probably gonna die, or you can join them, but you're gonna die for sure, right? And so he's following Bastille, right? And then 3 years later, we see the demon hunter, and he's carrying a girl, right? And but then the narrative says, I made a promise to him that I could find you and bring you back, wherever it took, no matter the sacrifice. I owed him that much to complete what he and I couldn't finish together. So while saying that, I immediately know that this is Bastille and that this is Rion, right? Because he's taking in a different form, talking in a different form, right? Like he's talking about him, and right. He was a good demon killer, but he had so much more to do. So I'm not sure if Bastille is dead or that he became, the new Bastille, because he's actually looking exactly like him, right? But yeah, he says, Adelaide, I brought you back home. A promise kept. My rightful place is standing over your dead body before devouring you. Did I pick the wrong one? You Adelaide, aren't you? Adelaide doesn't want to be found. She wants you dead. How was I to know? There was dozens like her. This one stepped forward to me in the woods. Her eyes looked into my soul. I'm sure I would not be tricked by just another gather. I like this part as well. This reminds me a lot of what's the movie called? Evil Dead. A girl or a guy, looks normal, and then the voices are changing, and then starting in, this is happening, right? And as you can see, join us in our graves, die, die, die. No one leaves NECRONEMA alive. Yeah, this really reminds me of those demons in those movies spouting about the Necronomicon and all that stuff. It's just fantastic. So good choice. So Rion says the gatherers used trickery to entrap their victims after transporting them to hungry demon soldiers for food. But these are just rumors from the elder witch folks. So yeah, he's basically he's killing it, right? And then he lies next to the head, and the head is still talking. The demon kings are growing more powerful by the day. Everywhere is there to consume, but there is a way with the right army. So I'm not sure why a demon actually telling him that there is a way to eradicate them. I mean, isn't the demon on the side of the demon kings? That doesn't make any sense. He says, but she knows you. She knows you are a threat. The demon queen? You won't be safe anywhere, even here. First rule of demon hunter, never trust the fallen. My swords must end your journey. And then and the voice says, halt. And then this is happening. So he's getting blasted to bits. Light him up. Looks really cool. Tony as Daniel, really good. I really like it. Colors are nice too. It's not the best. I've seen better. But, you know, I'm not complaining much. So these are soldiers. And they think this is a, how do you say, a demon. A gather, right? And then he says, well, this looks differently. Well, it's they can all shapeshift, the other one says, right? So when they want to take his gold medallion, and then, so he says, or she says, all I can see is this book. That's mine. Holy shit, you're alive. He's alive. Shut up. I think you knew he is. And yeah, they know each other. So this is the Bastille. Is this Bastille? No, it's not Bastille. What am I saying? Elias, that's his name. So it's Elias. He looks a little bit older, but he's still saying, you need to shut up. And he's still alive. And he says, hey, Elias, is it you, Rion? And that's it. So I believe he has some kind of a regenerative abilities. Otherwise, you could just stand up and smile, right? And that leads us to issue number 2. Yeah, so far I'm invested. I mean, I think it's cool. It looks cool. The expanding woods, right? That's interesting. The whole him being an apprentice, becoming, I don't know, demon hunter is cool. But I want to know more. So we're going to take a look at this later, guys. And I want to know if the witches are the good guys, and who are the witches, and who are the demon kings, and etc. So if you read this comic or not, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Are you interested or not? Leave a comment below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.